Good morning and welcome to UUCC, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Canandaigua. We are a group of spiritual free thinkers who gather to celebrate life, build community, and better the world. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. I'm Karen Alvarez, your worship associate for this morning, and our service will be led today by Danielle Lyon. Welcome back, and thank you to Scott Wright for providing music for us this summer. This service is also being live streamed to our YouTube channel. We plan to continue with hybrid worship services, so you can join us each week here in person, on Zoom, or later on YouTube. If this is your first visit, welcome. We invite you to sign the visitor's book in the entryway. And whether it's your first visit or your 1,000th, we're glad that you came. To help us connect better with our friends watching from home, please turn around and give a wave to the camera. At the end of the service, we will invite our friends on Zoom to turn on their cameras and return the wave. I have a few announcements to share with you today. If you have a joy or sorrow that you'd like to share, please fill out the card on your chair. We invite you to bring them forward and place them in the basket after Scott rings the chimes and begins to play. Please join us after the service today for our second Sunday potluck. Whether you brought a dish to share or not, you're welcome to stay. We always have enough. Join us for the Rochester Pride Parade on Saturday, July 20th. This year's parade has a new time, location, and route. If you want to walk, roll, march, or skip in the parade, please contact Michelle Chapla. The parade steps off at 11 a.m. on Science Parkway and proceeds north on South Avenue. More general information can be found by clicking the link in the weekly email. Naples Pride will be on Saturday, July 27th from 1 to 6 at the Naples Memorial Town Hall lawn. It's at 135 North Main Street, Naples, New York. All are welcome to come celebrate and cultivate our diverse communities. Visit naplesnewyorkpride.org for more details. Mark your calendars now for our upcoming UU Climate Justice Revival, From an Extractive Age to a New Era, on September 28th and 29th. We'll meet on Saturday morning for the first part of the program, followed by lunch, and then continue the weekend with a service shared by UU churches across the country to help us gear up for climate change. Are there any other announcements for the good of the community? Yes.
I haven't had a chance to get this into the newsletter yet. But my name is Jody Brown. I'm on the New York State Convention of Universalists nominating committee. And the nominating committee is looking for people who would like to be on next year's nominating committee. So if you or anyone you know might be interested, or if you just need more information about it, please let me know. I will be getting this in the newsletter as well one of these days.
Thanks, Jody. As we prepare to be fully together, I remind you to silence your phones and devices. We now enter a space of worship.
And bring forward your joys and sorrows if you've got them.
Done too. Do we have any chalice lighter volunteers this morning? I guess it will be you. Are you ready? I invite you to join with me in our chalice lighting words as the flame is lit. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
Come into this space with all of yourself, virtually or embodied together. Bring your joy and your wonder, your love and your praising. Bring also your hurting and hardened, broken hearts. Bring your tender doubts, your fears, and your sorrow. Come into this space just as you are. In case you're still thinking, I'm talking about someone else, and your particular broken parts and soft places aren't really what I mean, let me be clear. You are welcome here. You, your whole being, is welcome here. Your whole beautiful and breakable, wondrous and messed up, holy and profane being. You, just as you are, all of who you are, even those sticky, squeaky, hurting, hard to find because they've been buried deep for so many years parts of you. You with the wide open hearts, and even you with the stuck shut hearts, longing to creak and crack open just a bit. You are invited to this celebration. Enter in. And may we discover that a community full of other whole and holy beings show up too. Please rise, embody your spirit, and join us in our first hymn, number 331 in the gray hymnal, Life is the Greatest Gift of All. Our first reading today is called More Love, A Call to Worship by Nancy MacDonald Ladd in Wake to Rise. We gather in community every Sunday in a state of conflict for our very souls, a state both expansively hopeful and restrictively confined. We are hopeful that we might rise to meet a new day for those who seek and who serve the Spirit, and hope that each and every one of us might encounter the sacred within, among and beyond every human soul, and hopeful that such an encounter might work through us to topple the idolatries of our age. And yet, we also gather as a people who are not yet free, a people confined, unfree, contained. We are confined, unfree, and contained because in this culture of division, built upon the pain of the people at the margins, even the decent people hold our love too tightly. Putting it in boxes, prefacing it with qualifications. I will love you if. I will see you if. I will bear the truth of my soul alongside yours if and only if. You agree with me. You look like me. You stand like me. You think like me. You act like me. You sing like me. You wear your gender on your sleeve and produce it upon demand. I will love you and I will meet you in the sanctuary of our hearts if and only if you give me evidence of your good liberal virtues. If and only if you never fail to speak the language of the movement and never weep upon a street corner out of grief for your sheer inadequacy and the vastness of the struggle that you cannot even name. We are imprisoned by these ifs and these only ifs. We are confined by the smallness of our loving, even as our souls remind us that we can only get free if we all get free together. And so today, as we intersect in honest work, let our hopefulness mingle with our conviction. Let our willingness to love beyond our expectations or experience break down our long-held barriers. Let our willingness to be honest about the hardest questions open us to new truths. May there truly be more love, with no labels and no binary, and no preface and no qualification, and no arithmetic and no limit. May there be more love to liberate us all, and may we keep on today and every day until we find it and share it, inch by precious inch, with one another around the world.
Now is the time in our service to join together in the spiritual practice of generosity. Our gifts of both time and money support our church in its work. Each week, we would like to spotlight a group or committee and thank them for their gift of time. This week, the group is social media, which is currently kind of leaderless and directionless, but we are working on invigorating the website, and we could really use somebody who is willing and able to assist with the social media component. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. 1/4 of our plate collection for the widening season goes to the Finger Lakes Accountability Network, or FLAN, a multiracial and multi-generational group of people who meet regularly and build relationships with each other in the Western Finger Lakes region of New York State. Committed to the interracial work of cultivating a culture of curiosity, courage, and commitment to dismantling systems of oppression, members of FLAN start by looking within ourselves, focusing on the necessity and joy of racial healing, ecological justice, and equitable food systems. You can give to this morning's offering by placing cash or a check into the basket or by one of the options on your screen. Please make a note that your gift is intended for today's offering. We now gratefully accept the offering. So this morning, we only have one joy, but it's a really big one from Nancy because she has two healthy new babies born to her grandson Ben on Wednesday. Awesome. So I'll now drop a stone for these and all the other joys and sorrows left in the silence of our hearts. Whatever is in your heart this morning, we are with you.
We'll get a responsive reading up on the screen. And this was put into the summer service script as kind of a way for us to kind of practice and renew our commitment to the covenant that we came up with together as a congregation a few years ago. Yes? Technical difficulties.
So hard to get good help. Can't read it.
Okay. We are the promises we make to one another. We will recognize the inherent value of each person. We will foster a community of compassion and caring for all. And we will engage respectfully in disagreement. Respectfully in disagreement. Slide change. In service of the values that unite us. Thus, we do covenant with each other and with all. It'll get smoother as the summer goes on. Now is the time for centering, followed by shared silence. Of course, by shared silence, we mean the absence of grown-ups talking to one another. So let us get comfortable in our seats. Maybe the children among us would like to lie down right on the comfy rug. And wherever you are, let your breathing slow down, your eyes fall closed, and take a few moments to just be. Our second reading today is the story of Abraham and the strangers, a story from Genesis, as told by Reverend Eileen. This is a story from Jewish scripture about a man named Abraham. Abraham, the story goes, lived long, long ago in a land called Canaan. He was a nomad. Do you know what that means? Yes, it means he traveled from place to place with his big family and his herds of animals. They had no permanent house, but they brought tents with them wherever they traveled. It was a dangerous and vulnerable life to be nomads. They were at risk from thieves or criminals. They didn't have a long-term community, so it was hard to know who to trust. Everyone was a stranger, so anyone might be dangerous. One day, Abraham was sitting outside his tent, resting after a long day of work, probably, when he saw some strangers approaching way out in the distance. Now, knowing what we know about the dangerous life of nomads, what do you think he did? Well, he didn't run and hide or get ready to fight. You might be surprised, not Ken, to learn that he got up from his seat and went out in the field to meet those strangers. He invited them back to his tent, and when they got there, he offered to wash the dirt off their feet and to feed them dinner. "Stay with us for the night," he invited. And after taking care of the strangers, a curious miracle occurred. Abraham realized that they were God. Now, you might be wondering why we tell this story today. I think we can learn a lesson from Abraham. He had good reason to be scared of those strangers, but instead of letting fear lead him, he chose curiosity instead. He chose to go out and meet the strangers and to offer them care and love. And when he did, he had a holy experience indeed. Please now rise in body or spirit and join us in our closing hymn, number 277, "When We Wend Homeward."
Please join me in our words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
And if there's anyone on Zoom that would like to wave goodbye, now is the time to turn on your camera.